So you're playing Genshin, you do a 10 pull, and while you don't get a 5-star, you do get 4-star Yao Yao. Now, what do you get with Yao Yao besides one of Madame Ping's wonderful disciples? Well, Yao Yao is a polearm wielding Dendro user who is a phenomenal addition to a Bountiful Core team. And in this video, we are going to look at why Yao Yao is a phenomenal addition to a Bountiful Core team. Yes, this is her basics guide. We are going to very quickly touch on the basics in her kit, but I want to talk more about Bountiful Core and Yao Yao's role in a Bountiful Core team. We will kind of also touch on what a Bountiful Core is, but first we're going to look at how her kit works to see how she slots into said Bountiful Core team. Yao Yao's normal attacks have nothing to do with this, so we're just skipping them altogether. Her skill, she is going to throw out Yugui, which is her pet little bunny. Yugui is going to throw radishes at enemies, dealing Dendro damage. And then of course, if you are low health, Yugui will then throw radishes at you, healing you up based on Yao Yao's max HP. Yao Yao's burst is going to summon a lot of Yuguis, and Yao Yao can jump around or dash around to also throw out radishes herself. So you can have multiple Yuguis on the field and Yao Yao herself throwing out radishes to do Dendro damage to enemies. And this also gives a team-wide healing. It will heal everybody on your team, whether they're on the field or not. So we have a ton of Dendro going around and a lot of healing, which is phenomenal in this particular instance. Now, next, we're going to kind of do a quick overview as to how my Yao Yao is built. We will talk about it more in depth later on, but we're going to look at the Yao Yao build, look at 2 of her constellations, the 2 most important for Bountiful Core, and then talk about what Bountiful Core is. So there are going to be 3 main things. 1, Yao Yao's level 90, 26,000 HP, 945 EM. Those are the 3 things that we're going to pay attention to. Second is going to be that she has a level 90 R5 Dragon's Bane. And then of course her artifact set is going to be 4-piece Instructor. And we're going to talk about why that is later on. And now we're going to quickly touch on her C2 and her C4. C2 is going to simply lower her ER requirements because every time that a white Jade Radish hits an opponent, 3 energy will be given back to Yao Yao. So you can have a ton of energy given back to Yao Yao over the course of her burst. Number 4 is that after using her skill or her burst, her elemental mastery will be increased based on her max HP. The maximum that you can get is 120 EM from this. That is at 40,000 HP. Mine is giving about 78 extra EM here because she's only at 26,000 HP, nowhere near the 40,000 HP. So now let's talk about what a Bountiful Core is. Bountiful Core is going to be a bigger, souped up, stronger version of a Bloom. And it is only possible when you have Nilou in the team, as well as having only Dendro and Hydro characters. Nilou's kit, which we will talk about in a different video. I've talked about her before. She's my second favorite character, so of course we've talked about her. Nilou's kit allows for Bountiful Cores. Bountiful Cores are bigger blooms that explode immediately, quote unquote, immediately upon being created, and they deal increased damage. That's all we're going to kind of touch on the Bountiful Core. So why does Yao Yao work really well in a Bountiful Core? Well, Yao Yao is going to allow us to have a ton of Dendro application, especially through her burst, but Bountiful Core hurts the character on the field whenever it explodes, as long as they're within their AoE. So as you can see, as we're kind of going through this, Coco's going to take damage, Nahita's going to take damage when she's on the field. Yao Yao's going to take damage. If they're close enough to one of these Bountiful Cores exploding, they will take self-damage. Even though they're creating it, they will still take self-damage. Because of Yao Yao's burst, using it in conjunction with some off-field Hydro like Coco's Jellyfish, you can create a ton of Bountiful Cores on the field during Yao Yao's burst, as well as heal your entire team based on Yao Yao's max HP. So this is a really good synergy because you need to run either a shielder like Kirara or healers like Coco and Yao Yao in Bountiful Core teams. If not, they will hurt themselves so much that they will just kind of fall over because their HP has gotten so low from their own Bountiful Cores that they're creating. Having this team-wide healing is actually really good for this team because of the self-damage. Now, of course, Coco can also do that with her Jellyfish and through her burst, but because I have invested 0 HP in main stats on either Coco or Yao Yao, I need both healers in this team. This is a full damage Bountiful Core team where Coco and Yao Yao are both EM built to where neither of them are designated healers. They are in fact designated damage dealers, and I am using their bursts secondary to heal the team. Now, why would I do that? Because whenever you get into a Bountiful Core, the character that creates the core is quote unquote the owner. And it is going to calculate the damage of this Bountiful Core based on the character that owns said Bountiful Core. So if Yao Yao creates a Bountiful Core, it is going to take her 2 stats, level and elemental mastery, into consideration when damaging the enemy. If Coco makes the core, it will take her stats into consideration. It will only take the owner, whoever applies the second element to create the core. So whenever you have all of this Hydro and Dendro going around in a rotation, it can get very confusing as to who the Bountiful Core owner is. So by building full damage, full EM on every character but Nilou, because Nilou will almost never own a core, you are guaranteeing maximum damage. And between Coco's burst and Jellyfish and Yao Yao's burst and Yugwe, we can keep the HP of the team high enough to run this kind of team. So I hope that I explained that kind of well. None of that was scripted. I was kind of just rambling all of that off. Now we're going to look at the way that I built my Yao Yao and kind of talk about it. And that's going to kind of go to the artifact set, being Instructor. Yes, a 4-star artifact set, and it is one of, if not her best, for this particular team. And to explain why, we're going to look at the stats of all 4 members of this team. Nilou has over 75,000 HP, breaking where she wants to be for Bountiful Core, right? It's right around 74,000 and some change that we want on Nilou for max HP. My Nilou more than exceeds it. Nahida, over 1,000 EM. Coco, over 1,000 EM. Yao Yao, just under, like 945 EM. But because of the instructor set, giving an extra 120 elemental mastery to the entire team upon causing a reaction, we can get these EMs way higher than what you just saw on screen. So if we just go use Yao Yao's skill to cause a reaction, you can see that Yao Yao now has 1,174 EM, well over the 1,000 EM mark that we try to get in teams like this. And even Coco's EM has gone up to 1,300. Nahida's over 1,200, almost 1,300. Nilou's still a little low. Like I said, her EM matters less. Now, if we use Nilou's kit with Ki, Nahida's burst to share more EM, Yao Yao actually has 1,476 elemental mastery. Coco now has 1,434, Nahida 1,407. We are all over 1,400 except for Nilou on the elemental mastery because of how everybody's kit works. Now, why does Yao Yao have more EM than Coco now? Because of her C4, because we get that extra little bit of EM from using Yugwe. We're receiving all of the buffs plus that extra little like 78 EM. And in the substats of these artifacts on the instructor set, I am going for HP percent and energy recharge, right? We want to get a little bit of HP and a little bit of energy recharge for her, so that way we can use her burst more, but also get a little bit more out of healing. So kind of the same thing on Coco, right? We're trying to get a little bit of ER and a little bit of HP percent there as well. Now, you might be thinking, wow, 1,400 EM across the board is kind of crazy. This is nowhere near what I've been able to get my Yao Yao to. If we go into the domain for Deepwoods and Gilded, it actually gives an EM buff to your whole team. And as you can see here, Yao Yao now has like 1,800 elemental mastery, which is still nowhere near the maximum amount that I've gotten on my Yao Yao. My dubbed Demon Yao Yao, the most that I've ever gotten on her was 2,277 elemental mastery on my Yao Yao, which is insane. Yes, I was using every buff that I could possibly use, as well as that domain. But this was crazy, a crazy amount of elemental mastery to have on Yao Yao. Now that's going to be it for this video. If you have questions on what Bountiful Core is, I can do a video kind of talking more about Bountiful Core and how that entire system works. I do want to make that video anyway, but like Nilou's not on the banner, Nahida's not on the banner, so that's why I'm not making it right now. But if there's enough people that ask for it, I will make a deeper dive into Bountiful Core. So if you want to see that, make sure you put it down in the comments. Cookie has green hair. I have whitish hair now? Whitish hair? That needs to be re-dyed, and I will see you in the next one.